Philip wants to know, do you have any tips on installing and setting up Shimano Dura-Ace 9000 brakes? Shimano's SLR-EV brakes found in their Dura-Ace 9000, Ultegra 6800, and 105 5800 groups are very similar to install as the SLR brakes they replaced, but there are a few small differences. Some things to keep in mind are that the max tire width recommended by Shimano for these brakes is 25 millimeters. The max rim width compatible with these brakes is 28 millimeters. If you are using 24 to 28 millimeter rims, you'll need the R55 C4-1 brake pads, which are thinner and made for a carbon braking surface. Unfortunately, Shimano doesn't make a brake pad for alloy rims that measure between 24 and 28 millimeters. Before you start the installation, set the centering bolt so the upper edge of the bolt head sits down below the surface of the brake arm. When you have it in the right spot, the roller arm on top of the brake will sit flush with the rest of the brake caliper. When installing the brake on the bike, you need to make sure that you have enough thread engagement between the brake fixing nut and the brake anchor post. You should have at least 6 turns of thread engagement with the included washer installed between the caliper and frame or fork. If you don't have enough engagement on the threads, you'll need a longer nut. If the threads bottom out on the post before the brake is tight against the frame or fork, then you'll need a shorter brake fixing nut. When torquing down the brake fixing nut, pinch the caliper down so that the pads touch the rim. This will help to center the brake. Then torque the nut to 8 to 10 Newton meters. Before you anchor your cable, close the quick release lever at the clamp. Be sure to loosen the cable clamp bolt at least a few turns so when you pull the cable through, the clamp won't damage the low friction coating on the cable. Pinch the pads down against the rim and then torque the cable anchor bolt down to 6 to 8 Newton meters. Now we'll do the initial brake pad setup. Pull the brake lever and hold it while you loosen one of the pads. Center the pad on the rim while gently pulling on the brake lever and then pull the brake lever tight to hold the pad in place while you tighten it down. Repeat the process on the other brake pad. Now use the barrel adjuster and the brake centering bolt to achieve a 1.5 to 2 millimeter gap between the rim and the pad on each side. Now we're ready to tow in the pads. I have a nice little trick for this that we showed in an earlier video, but I'll show it again here. Take a couple of business cards, fold it in half, and place them between the last 15 millimeters of the trailing edge of the brake pad and the rim. Pull the brake lever to hold them in place. Loosen one pad and then tighten it back down again. Repeat this process on the other side and remove the business cards. Check your pad clearance, centering, and feel again. Then give the brake lever a couple of hard pulls to make sure the cable and housing are fully seated and to ensure the cable will stay clamped under heavy braking and you are done. If you want your question asked on Ask a Mechanic presented by Cyclery, send your inquiry to webletters@competitorgroup.com.